You know, sometimes a single photograph can pop up online and just explode. And that is exactly what happened recently with this picture of two very well-known public figures. So we're going to get to the bottom of it, separate fact from fiction, and figure out what's really going on.
Right, so this image has been making the rounds, and it seems like everyone has a theory about what it means. But we're not here to guess. We're going to look at what the people involved have actually said and piece together the real story behind the picture.
Okay, so let's set the scene. The photo shows the Philippine ambassador to Austria, Luli Arroyo Bernas, with former spokesman Harry Roque. When this image started circulating, it kicked off a whole lot of speculation online. But like with most things you see on the internet, context is everything.
Now here is the single most important piece of information you need to know. The photo wasn't taken last week or even last month. It was taken way back in the summer of 2023. That huge time gap is absolutely key to understanding how a pretty normal visit turned into this big online drama almost a year later.
So, as you can imagine, with all the chatter online, officials had to step in and clear the air. Let's take a look at exactly what they said to try and put the rumors to rest.
The first person to really address this was Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro, and she was really upfront about it, saying even she was alarmed at first. But then she did what you're supposed to do. She looked closer, and she realized, wait a minute, this picture is old. She even pointed out that Mr. Roque looks different now, which was a pretty clever way to show it wasn't a recent photo.
And how did Ambassador Arroyo Bernas react? Well, she was grateful for the clarification. Her response really gets to the heart of the whole issue, doesn't it? It's all about getting the facts straight before jumping to conclusions, especially when misinformation can spread so fast.
All right, so we've established when the photo was taken. Now, for the next big question, why was it taken? The ambassador herself gave a really simple, straightforward explanation for why Mr. Roque was at the embassy that day.
So, what was the big secret meeting about? Well, there wasn't one. It was actually just a family visit. Mr. Roque was there with his family and some friends. One of these friends had actually donated a bust of Jose Rizal to the embassy and, just wanted to see it on display. The photo op, it was just a snapshot to remember the moment. That's it.
This whole controversy also brought up some serious questions about what an embassy can and cannot do, especially when it comes to things like asylum or legal issues. So this is actually a perfect time for a quick reality check on the powers and the limits of a diplomatic mission. Let's be really clear here. An embassy operates under the laws of its host country. It doesn't have its own police force. The Philippine embassy in Vienna can't enforce Austrian immigration law. They can't execute arrest warrants on foreign soil, and thanks to Europe's really strict privacy laws, they have zero access to information on asylum seekers. They just don't have those powers.
The online speculation got so specific that it focused on a single Filipino word, pagkakalong, which basically means to provide refuge or to shelter. When Undersecretary Castro used this word in a hypothetical sense, it got a very direct response from the ambassador.
So here's what happened. In a personal vlog, the undersecretary mentioned that, hypothetically, it would be wrong for an ambassador to provide refuge in a situation like this. Ambassador Arroyo Bernas' comeback was swift and to the point. She basically said, I'm not affected by that comment because I'm not providing refuge. She completely shut down a narrative that just didn't apply to what was actually happening.
After setting the record straight, the ambassador really just wanted to get back to business. Her message was crystal clear. The embassy has way more important work to do than get caught up in all this online drama. And when she says they have a lot of work, she is not kidding. The mission in Vienna is a major diplomatic hub. It handles relations for 4 different countries, works with 6 UN agencies, has helped secure 3 new labor agreements just since last year, and they're gearing up for the 80th anniversary of relations with Austria. That's the real work that was being overshadowed by this photo.
The ambassador's final thought on all this is really a statement about her own commitment to her job. She says that even though she comes from a famous political family, she has never been one for politicking. Her focus is on diplomacy, plain and simple, and she believes that anyone who works with her knows that to be true.
When you step back, this whole thing is a powerful lesson, isn't it? It shows how a year-old photo, completely stripped of its context, can be twisted into something else entirely. It really makes you think, and it forces us all to ask a tough question. In a world where we can share something with thousands of people in a split second, what's our responsibility to just pause, to question what we're seeing, and to look for the facts before we hit that share button?